Well, welcome back to Tom and Edwin's Excellent Adventure. We're in Delaware, and we spent some time in Wilmington yesterday. Met some wonderful people, had some wonderful food, and had some wonderful laughs. So we're just going to talk a little bit about some things we learned and gleaned from the conversation. I want to first start off by saying, I grew up in New Jersey, had never really spent any time in Delaware, and I'm just, every time I've come out here, whether it was for the interview with the first group or this time around with Ken and Tom, it's just been such a wonderful experience. I mean, I don't know what I imagined or what I expected out of Wilmington or Delaware, but I just think it's a place where there's just so much potential. I think there's a lot of cool people doing cool things that are exciting, that I'm passionate about and passionate to find ways to support. So that just continues to confirm my desire to be out here. So that's great. It's got some great outdoors things to do. Delaware Bay, Chesapeake Bay, rivers and forests and parks, and that just brings me alive.
So what you're saying is you're going to get a job with the Chamber of Commerce?
Yeah, I'm going to sell. I'm going to sell. I'm going to close. Always be closing.
I would say also the weather has been fantastic, but the neatest thing is we have been fortunate to meet with some wonderful people.
Yeah.
And it was a long day yesterday, but it began with Will Minster, and Will is I'm not sure of his formal title, do you know, but he kind of directs economic development for the downtown district of Wilmington. And
well, he directs the nonprofit Downtown Visions.
Okay.
And they focus on the downtown development, kind of connecting the dots between nonprofits and churches and civic-minded people and businesses. So.
And what did you come out of that meeting with? What sticks in your mind regarding what Will shared with us?
Well, I think he definitely said churches and faith-based organizations have a presence in Wilmington and in the Wilmington area, which I found encouraging. They're a part of different economic development, supportive and downtown development support. I don't know. I totally messed that up.
Well,
should we restart that?
No.
Okay.
No, I think you're doing as well as you can, Edwin.
We'll have to edit that, Ken.
Well, yeah, this is an edit-free zone. He talked about demographics, to an extent, and we focused on the downtown district. And demographics are kind of statistical patterns that are meaningful or impactful. And what he talked about is how 85% of the people who work in Wilmington don't live there or don't live downtown. Everybody leaves, and the people who do live in Wilmington tend to work elsewhere. So there's this amazing sort of swap that happens every day. The challenge is that right now, for a variety of reasons that are primarily historic and go back to the 1960s and the Civil Rights era, when there was a longer presence of the National Guard in downtown Wilmington than anywhere in the history of the National Guard. They were there for a year during the 1960s, and everybody left the downtown area, and it's been a long time trying to develop that area to be residential. And so they're got some neat initiatives for teachers and for artists and other people to try and get them back into the downtown district and more apartments, et cetera, et cetera. But as he said, it's going to take some time. It's not something, though they're working on it 24/7 right now, it's not something that's going to happen instantly. And so for me, even though I found the culture of the downtown area or district compelling in some ways, great people, there was some energy during the day. What was also true is is it the kind of environment where you can connect with enough people in a meaningful way that you can develop something that's viable? Any other thoughts on our conversation with Will?
Well, I think what I was trying to say about the faith-based organizations is that they're involved. There's a presence there. There isn't a sense that, well, the churches we're not connected, are not connected to the community at all, which is encouraging from somebody for somebody who cares about the church. At the same time, he did say there are ways that churches could be more involved. And when I asked him point blank, can you name a church that is, chock full of young adults that, or creative types, and, they're doing work in Wilmington together and exploring faith together. He couldn't necessarily name one. I think he was able to say all churches are interested in attracting creative types and young adults because, that makes sense for many reasons, theologically as well as sociologically. If I asked him, hey, what's the Latino Protestant church? He said there is a presence there, but he couldn't necessarily name one.
Right.
So that looks like that's an area where there could be a better bridge between a Spanish-speaking or of Latin American descent church within the Wilmington community. Mm-hmm. And thirdly, I sort of touched upon this with creative folks, but is there a church where artists, musicians, poets, the writers, the actors, is there a church where they feel welcome, that they can go to, that they're committed to? And again, I would assume, and I think he suggested that churches would be interested in attracting that type. That's just something that's really important for me, being in a band. I love being around musicians and poets because they challenge me to not come up with easy answers. They challenge me to ask better questions. And to me, they really are in some raw form. And sometimes it looks messy, and sometimes it's very beautiful, and it's reflected in their art, in their songs, and they're exploring the meaning of life and purpose and life and death and pain, which I appreciate from an authentic place, and I think is a place that the church is called to explore as well, in a more meaningful and authentic way.
I also, and that tags on to fits with what we talked about yesterday and the day before as well, which is why not connect with the people whom you enjoy being with, that make you feel most alive. Ministry doesn't have to be like laying on a bed of nails. There's no reason it can't be fun. And just because you connect with a certain segment of the population and enjoy that, why couldn't that be your ministry? It doesn't mean that you're not going to go out and do meaningful service to other people outside that population, or that those people don't need the services you provide as well. So when we live in a time when so many ministers are saying enough is enough, I can't do this anymore, for very good reason, I think it makes sense to, if you're going to design a church or you're going to create a church, why not have it be one that you really love the people and love who they are, et cetera, et cetera. So,
and I think the other thing I gleaned from the conversation with Will Minster is, and this is for anybody thinking of starting a new worshiping community, I certainly have fallen in love with certain parts of Wilmington that just seem like they have a lot of energy, a lot of foot traffic. You're in the area and it feels good and you want to be a part of it. But at the same time, Will was saying, hey, a lot of those areas are already well served. They have a church presence. So I need to reflect on, okay, is that the case? Are they pretty well served? Are they sort of, these churches meeting all these needs? Or is there a need that, as you've said, that I can meet in the way God has equipped me to meet?
Right.
And can I do that with some authenticity and with joy, and having fun? If not, then no matter how great I think a neighborhood is in Wilmington, it does also. I also need to reflect on, all right, is there another area that I need to look at? So that's sort of when the reality hits. The incarnational theology, which is actually perfect segue to Holly.